This is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. I have another exciting episode for you, and this is going to be a good one. It's for all you guys and girls that go out to shop at farmers markets. Now, I always encourage you guys to shop at farmers markets instead of your local supermarket because the produce should be a lot fresher than your local health food store or grocery store. But nonetheless, I always want you guys to do the best you possibly can. And how do you know how to pick the highest quality and best produce at the farmers market? Well, this episode today, I'm going to show you. So let's come into my local farmers market and share with you the special tool I have that will allow you to get and pick out the highest quality produce, bar none. So now I'm sitting down at the farmers market, and you guys might also want to be sitting down to hear about this special tool I have right here. This is called a portable refractometer. It's an optical refractometer. That's the kind you want to get. You don't want to get the digital one. And this measures basically the fruit sugars. It's called a Brix ATC 0 to 32%. That's the one you want to get. This model happens to be the FG-113. And let me show you guys what this looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this case here. And here it is. Looks like one of those telescopes if you were in the olden days on a ship looking out and you'd see the horizon or whatnot. Well, what this device allows you to do, it allows you to take some fruit juice or juice of any plant, including leafy greens. If you're testing leafy greens, you'd have to get the juice out of it and put it on this little slide thing, put this thing over it, and then look into the light just like this. And when you look inside here, you're gonna see a scale. It's like a bar graph. And it goes from 0 to 32. And what this tells you, it measures the basically the sugar content, is what people think it usually measures, but it measures more than just sugar content. So sugar content will let you know how sweet the fruit's gonna be. And while most people use this just for the sugar content, it's much more valuable to that. It allows you to let you know the mineral content and also the specific gravity of the produce. Also, in general, the higher the Brix, the higher the protein content of the food. So how is this valuable to you? Well, basically, the sweeter it is and the higher specific gravity, the more minerals and nutrition the fruit will contain. In addition, when you're looking at this, besides just the number, which is one aspect, you want to look at the fuzziness. So like think of a bar graph, how bars go up on a graph and it's either, black or white. You want right at the differentiation mark, you want it to be nice and fuzzy. That'll indicate actually a higher mineral rich food, and I encourage you guys to pick the most mineral dense foods as possible, especially in conventional farming these days. They're adding 3 minerals, NPK, into the orchards, into their crops to grow things big, but there may not be minerally dense if they're not using things like rock dust, and unfortunately most places don't supplement trace minerals in their growing systems. So this device will allow you to get a higher quality food. Another thing that's really cool about high Brix foods is that they tend to store for longer without expiring or without going bad as quickly. So the question I know you might be thinking is, hey John, how do you know if something's high Brix? Should everything be 32 or not be 0? Well, it depends on the specific produce item. I have a little chart here that you can download online that I'll put a link below the video, and this is actually just the refractive index of crop juices. This is the master plan, and it goes over many common produce items. For example, it says apples. A poor apple would measure 6, an average apple would measure 10, a good apple would measure 14, and an excellent apple would measure 18. What we're gonna test today, because we are in wine country, we're gonna test some grapes. So over here on the grapes, let's see, grapes would be 8 would be poor, 12 would be average, 16 would be good, and an excellent grape, according to this chart, is 20. And pretty much, this chart pretty much maxes out at 20, 22 for most things on most fruits, and the vegetables in general maybe max out around 12 to 14 for an excellent vegetable. So by using this meter, you could go around to the different farmers market stands and find who has the highest quality produce, and then I want you guys to support them. So in that way, if everybody carried around one of these when they're shopping their farmers market, guess what? The farmers would have to start growing for nutrient quality instead of just, bulk quantity. I think one of the biggest problems with the agricultural system these days is that farmers are paid on poundage, not about the nutritional quality in the food. So I want you guys to demand a higher nutritional quality by carrying around your own Brix meter. So let's head around this farmer's market and check some grapes. So it really is super simple to use a refractometer to test the produce. If you're testing a fruit, you need to get a sample of fruit like they have the peaches here. You're just gonna take a little bit and you're just gonna literally squeeze the juice off. onto the meter there. A couple of dribbles, you're good. And then just put the top down, and then you could look into the refractometer up into the light. So that peach there was about measuring at about 14 or so, and has a nice fuzzy line, so that's a good sign. But we're not necessarily checking the peaches today, and those were the white peaches. White peaches in general, a little bit sweeter than the yellow peaches. We're testing the grapes, so we're gonna go ahead and wipe this guy off a little bit. We're gonna grab a nice ripe grape here and squeeze some of the juice on there. Once again, real simple, real easy. Hold that up to the light, check it out. Wow, okay, man. This grape is 21 on the Brix scale, so according to my chart, this is an excellent grape. So let's head around to some other booths here at the farmer's market, and let's see if we could beat our score of 21. Here's another booth, and they got a couple different kinds of grapes to test here. They got some black grapes, some green grapes, and some red ones, and actually even some smaller ones. So it'd be my guess that these guys are gonna be the sweetest, because the sweetest is basically not only the growing practices of the farmer, but it is also how ripe the grape or the produce item is being picked. The riper the produce item, the sweeter it is, because in the last days of ripening process, when the fruit is at its peak ripeness, the nutrition levels go up. So I want to encourage you guys always to pick the ripest fruit as possible. So we're going to go ahead and take one of these little small grapes here and test this guy out.
20% de azúcar.
20% de azúcar.
Seguro. Ahorita que le
Wow, oh my gosh, this is insane. So the Brix on this one is 21, 22, 23. So that's significantly higher than the other one. Let's go check a couple of these other different varieties of grapes real quick for you guys. Now when picking grapes, I want to encourage you guys to pick the nice, darkest, richest colors that look great to your eye. You know, the deeper the color, the more phytochemicals and phytonutrients, and in general, the more ripe it is. So here's a nice dark red grape. We're gonna go ahead and get some juice on. Wow, and this one's freaking scoring out at like 26.5. It's insane. These are some really good grapes. Next, we're gonna check your standard green grape here. These to me don't look so ripe, but we'll see what number we could get. All right, this guy's testing out at about 24.5. All the grapes here in Sonoma County have tested so far excellent or above. So we got one more grape to try, and this is the black grape. Now I want to encourage you guys always to, eat your foods of color, whether they're black grapes, green grapes, cherry colored grapes or whatever. Get a little bit of each so that you get all the different phytochemicals and phytonutrients in each different fruit. Gonna go ahead and squeeze the juice out of this guy. And this one tests out at just about 22, and it actually has a nice fuzzy demarcation line. So that's what I really want you guys to pay attention to, besides just the actual Brix number, is the demarcation line. I wish I could show you that in the camera. It's not gonna come out all right. But instead of just being black and white, you want it nice and fuzzy. That indicates more mineral content. I want you guys to eat mineral-rich foods so you get the highest quality and best foods. Not only do mineral-rich foods feed your body, but they also taste a lot better. So let's head to a few more booths before they close to see if we could get you some more Brix numbers. So the last booth I'm going to hit today is actually right here. It's J&M Ibarra Farms, and this is actually grown organic. The other two farms that I tested their grapes were not grown organically. And let's see how these Brix numbers turn out here. Get a small grape.
Yeah.
So we got a grape here. Once again, we're just going to press out this juice. Now grapes are real simple and easy because they're just really juicy. Some other crops, like leafy greens, you're gonna have to literally, wring out the juice out of them. But you can test your leafy greens too. And this one is Brixing out for a red grape at 22.5. So as you saw, all the grapes that we tested here in Sonoma County wine country tested out really high. And there's a reason for that. I mean, this is the ideal conditions to be growing grapes in. I mean, after all, most of the grapes grown in the county here actually are dedicated to wine. And why is a lot of wine produced here? Well, because we have high Brix grapes because of the unique climate, and that sugar content in the grapes actually transfer into the alcohol content in the wine. So I want to encourage you guys actually to eat wine variety grapes whenever possible and get seeded grapes, because there are antioxidants in the seeds, and wine variety of grapes generally have higher sugar contents because it's that sugar content that ferments into the alcohol. Another thing to remember about wine grapes is that wine grapes have amazingly crazy different flavors. It's very unfortunate that most people don't have access to some of the wine grapes that we get here. The final point that I want to let you guys know about is on the Brix content and organic versus non-organic. You know, just because something's grown organically doesn't mean it's going to have a high Brix content. You could have a conventional farmer that's not certified organic that has good farming practices that has high Brix content because they're harvesting their things at peak ripeness, or maybe they're using some fertilizers and including minerals into their soils to get the Brix even higher and show it on the refractometer. So in the end, I want to encourage you guys to pick up a refractometer. They're about $40 on eBay. Go to eBay and do a search for refractometer fruit and put 32 in there. You'll probably get one like this. They're about 40 bucks. If you try to buy them somewhere else, they could cost about 100 bucks. But go to every farmer's market and even supermarkets with your Brix refractometer in hand so that you can get the highest quality produce, so that you can be as healthy as you could be. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode learning more about the Brix refractometer. Once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRod.com. We'll see you next time, and remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're the best.